This week's top stories include the Pope's first visit to the U.S., the 2015 annual 8th Street Festival, and an inside look at DC3.
All that plus more on your latest installment of RWN, the right news the right way.
Hello, Richard Wright. Welcome to this edition of RWN. That's Richard Wright News, and I'm Emmanuel Charles.
And I'm Sharon Mazzo. Washington, D.C. was the center of attention this last week as the world watched as the Pope visited the United States for the first time. Destiny Whittington has more on this top story.
Thanks, Sharon. The 226th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis, made a historic visit to the United States this past week. He was greeted by our first family. And while in D.C., he visited places such as Catholic University and the White House. For many, the highlight of his visit was watching him ride around in the Pope-mobile down Constitution Avenue. His next stops were to New York and Philadelphia, where Aretha Franklin sang at the Family of Festival concerts. This is Destiny Whittington signing off for RWN. Back to you, Manny.
Thanks, Destiny. You know, I'm not a very religious person, but I must say it was pretty cool seeing such a revered man come to D.C. last week.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, especially with all those half days we got last week.
I know, can he come back? In other news, the Man the Block initiative that started here at Richard Wright is now gaining traction amongst other schools. Lataya King has more on this story.
Hey Richard Wright, I hope you've all been enjoying Man the Block because this November you're in for a real treat. On November 9th, Richard Wright will be having its second Man the Block event featuring all of the men of Richard Wright. You can expect some fresh new faces from the schools Idea, Paul, and Cesar Chavez. And women, don't you be shy because you're invited too. In this month's school news, we will be having parent-teacher conferences and media rides on October the 2nd. On October the 14th, our seniors and our juniors will be taking the PSAT and the SAT. On October the 18th, the seniors will be paying their second senior dues payment. And October the 23rd, seniors will be paying their first senior class trip payment. And I'm Madam President, and that's all for this month's school news.
This year's 8th Street Festival, a behind-the-scenes look on one of our local restaurants, and this week's entertainment and sports segments are up next after the break.
Hello. Are you thirsty? Forget this ordinary water. Get yourself some Just Water. Wow, now that was a splash.
Whoa, Nelly. The jeans have to come off and the sweatshirt has to come off. You cannot do that here. Get Richard Wright ready right here. Right here. Gentlemen, first of all, you won't be getting in today. Second of all, good thing. Second of all, you can try to get in tomorrow. We told you October the 1st. October the 1st.
That's for my project.
What's today's date?
It's October the 1st.
That's the second.
I misplaced my place, man.
Well, go find it. You got plenty of time. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop.
Welcome back to RWN, your trusted source for Spartan News. I'm Emmanuel Charles. 8th Street was the place to be last weekend, and our very own Brian Jackson had the opportunity to check it out. What's up, Brian?
This is Brian Jackson reporting for RWN, and right now I'm at the Barracks Row Festival. Let's see what's going on. Saturday, September 26th marked the return of the longest-running event in the Capitol Hill area, the Barracks Row Fall Festivals. The activities included vendors and a blend of urban diversity with the curiosity of a small-town fair, with the Petting Zoo being the biggest hit of them all. The Fall Festival is something that not only community can enjoy, but the business and organizations as well. Do you know anything about Barracks Row?
I know a little bit about Barracks Row. We're opening up a pizza shop a couple blocks up. So I've been in this neighborhood, in this community, dealing with the neighborhood committee, for probably the last 2 years. So it's a great street, a lot of cool restaurants, a lot of cool neighbors, and we're really looking forward to being here.
And I'm Brian Jackson signing out for RWN.
Thanks, Brian. This week, RWN introduces a new segment called Foodie Fridays with Natalie Davis and Nia Downing. Hey, ladies.
Hey guys, this is Nia Downing and Ellie Davis, and this is Foodie Friday. Today we're going to DC3 and talk to Mustafa Humphreys, a worker at DC3, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the restaurant and things they serve. DC3's vintage hot dog starts from the late 1940s, where commercial air travel sent Americans to the skies in the Douglas Commercial 3 or DC3, the plane that changed the world.
What makes DC3 so unique is that we are one of few hot dog restaurants located in the city. You could get unlimited toppings on your dog. We also serve turkey dogs, half smokes, fried Oreos, and fried pickles. I don't think any other location besides a couple trucks in the city does that. So
traveling every day meant that there was an adventure, and there was no place you couldn't go. People were traveling to distant cities eager to see what they held. Among the top of the list was the cuisine. How did other countries make their hot dogs? At DC3, they inserted the taste of various cities across the globe into the classic American hot dog. I'm Nia Downing, and I'm Natalie Davis, and we are reporting for RWN.
Thanks, Natalie and Nia. Kyra Shade is here with your entertainment and pop culture news for this week. Kyra, what's poppin'?
Hey y'all, I'm Kyra Shade, and don't take it personal. This week on What's Poppin' is electronics. The iPhone 6S is out and has some pretty hot new features. You don't ever have to worry about your selfies being too dark because the front camera now has a flash. That's right, you can also be on fleek. No shade. You can send that selfie straight to an app, IG or Twitter, with just the tap and a hold of the app. Scream Queens is what's poppin' this week on TV. Apparently everybody loves a dumb blonde. Somebody's killing people and we have no idea who. I guess we're gonna have to play Follow the Dummies, Follow the Blondies to figure it out. And of course, what's popping in the streets. Over the weekend, DC held its first ever landmark music festival with over 40 musicians keeping them all alive with music both Saturday and Sunday. Artists included indie musicians and 3 headliners, Wale, McGill, and hip-hop icon Drake. And fortunately for us, Emmanuel Charles was there to grab some footage. Let's see. And that's all for What's Poppin'. I'm Kyra Shade, and don't take it personal.
And this week, we got the volleyball team season. Give you some stats on that. Then we got the NFL predictions. We're going to start something new at the end of this show. I got you. And we got into some depressing news. The football team losing this week. But they going to get us. We got it. All this is upcoming in the Spartan Sports Zone. Our Spartans are now 2-3 on the season after a tough loss against Kip. We were so close to that W, but unfortunately, we had to try again next week. We caught up with Coach Kelly after the game, and this is what he had to say.
First of all, undisciplined. We shot ourselves in the foot. We gave up a lot of things that we shouldn't have gave up, but that's what practice is for. Get better this week. Hopefully we'll take it week by week and do something different next week.
We have a new standout player this week, Mayante Drayton, with 3 catches for 105 yards. And we got the usual one, Alante Sanders, rushing for over 150. We caught up with Alante right after the game.
Alante, you were able to get over 150 yards today. Standout player. Talk about your performance.
Every game, I just plan on just working hard, man. I know I can play better every game. I just build on from each and every game.
All right, talk about how you're going to begin to motivate your team so we can get more W's on the board.
Just push them in practice, man. Practice make perfect, so we got to practice more often, practice hard, get everybody in practice every day of the week.
Our Spartans look to bounce back from that tough loss last week as they will face off against our biggest rival, Cesar Chavez. Everyone should come out and support the team. They need it. In other sports news, we had the volleyball team season gearing off as they opened the season against Maya Angelou. It was a tough loss. They lost by 2, 23-25. We had Saber McDonald, the standout player, though. In NFL news, we got 2 winners from the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. And in some sadder news in the NFC East, we got the Redskins and Cowboys taking a loss. This week, we're going to start something new. We got Jaquan Jinx, where I will offer my personal NFL predictions the upcoming week. Now, We got I got the Eagles over the Redskins, the Bengals over the Chiefs, Packers over the 49ers, Cardinals over the Rams, Seahawks over the Lions, and you gotta have an upset pick, the Texans over the Atlanta Falcons, because they've been winning every week, so they gotta lose eventually. That's all for the Spot Sports Zone. I'm Jaquan Jackson.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Richard Wright News. I'm Emmanuel Charles.
And I'm Sharon Mazzo, signing off for RWN.
And as always, stay classy, Richard Wright.
Hold up, man and Sharon. We got one more story left. I'm here with a special guest, all the way from overseas. Matter of fact, he's the holy man of the sea, Pope Francis. How you doing, Pope Francis? Speaking of Francis, you know Mr. Aisi from RWPCS? No? Okay. Oh, that's some nice ice right there, Pope. I know you've been around DC, but I ain't see you around Big 3L. Is that the Migos chain?
What chain?
All right, so I also seen your new car around DC driving downtown too. So I ain't see y'all stop at no red lights. What's up with that? Who paid them parking tickets? Okay. Oh, yeah, hey, dang, that's a nice beanie. Been around Bennett Road, you know Ron? Oh yeah, he be blessing too. All right, one more question, Pope. Uno mas. Last question. What are those?